Welcome to a classic Game Room interview today with Keith Mullen, the founder of Gamer Grub, gaming food for gamers, specially made to increase gaming performance. Is that how the marketing team would say it?
Well, we actually don't have a marketing team, but we basically, the concept is to think fast so you can win more.
That's a good concept.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you bioengineer Gamer Grub to do that?
Well, we worked with a flavor house, really had to understand the flavor profiles that would obviously be delicious. And then we also had to then talk with a laboratory to engineer the vitamin premix, which is installed in Gamer Grub for the cognitive functioning. So there's kind of two different, I guess, R&D phases. One is taste, and then the other is you're saying that the functional ingredients that are added in Gamer Grub.
Flavor house. There is a house of flavor.
House of flavors.
Well,
Yeah, it's. Basically, that's just an industry term of that's the group that has, let's say, the flavor profiles, a library, if you will.
Okay.
That you are trying to start with and then kind of change and then kind of go forward based on just a base construct.
Well, let's back up to the beginning here. When was Gamer Grub founded, and how did this idea come to you?
I was actually been to E3 conventions for, I don't know, 10 years plus or so. And I was designing some computer gaming peripherals, lighting, chairs, this type of thing. And, obviously, gaming a lot, I just had the frustration of I got crumbs and goop all over my controllers and all of my hands. And I just got tired of getting up and washing my hands and coming back, the computer and working. I just do stuff really fast and multitask. And there's got to be a better way. So, kind of working in, the gaming space, designing some products and then, having issues with snacking. That's kind of when just kind of the moment came up, and I said, "Wait a minute, what's kind of going on here? There's got to be something I can do with this." And then started working with the gaming community and understanding that a lot of people had the same problem. So configuring that, or just kind of understanding that, okay, here's a problem, here's something that I am really passionate about the gaming community. Let's try and solve it. That's really kind of, I guess, the genesis of it.
And that's when you came up with the tear and tilt technology, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There was Rip and Tip, and another company already has that trademark, so I couldn't use that. But we were trying to figure out how to solve the problems, and that's the tear and tilt was I guess a methodology of how to accomplish that.
Well, I have to give you credit. You've designed a nice bag, and if you watch my review of Gamer Grub, I've reviewed a couple of the flavors. It's a very space age looking bag. It looks like something that could be in on the space station or something, or on NASA. And you easily tear it off, and then you crinkle it, push it together with your hands, and you just basically eat the food. So
Yeah.
you're right, and in that respect, it works exactly as advertised.
We actually had the original design when I first kind of came up with the concept. We actually had a rigid packaging, and the packaging almost looked like a controller. It was a rigid container. It was plastic. It was had this manipulatable top that moved and whatnot. It was really, really cool, very MacGyver-esque, and kind of gamer controller. But that ended up costing just a very large amount of money to make, and we couldn't do the cool stuff. So we had to then came up, okay, we still need to solve the problem and need really cool packaging. So then kind of started working with a really good artist to try and figure that out. And then obviously the bag production group that makes the packages to say, okay, here's our problem. How do we solve it? It's just been a series of trying to solve problems.
And I think we can all relate to flavors. There's you have the peanut butter and jelly flavor. There's a flavor that to me at least tasted like Chex Mix or something nice and salty like that. But how did you come up with the I was joking around and called them neurotoxins, but how do you come up with the enhancers to make you a better video game player? What mixture of vitamins and minerals and stuff did you use, and how'd you come up with that?
Yeah, so we worked with a laboratory, and we put together a design specification of what we want to accomplish from a functionality perspective. Let's just say Gatorade, their functionality is hydration, so they use salt ions to enable cells to soak up liquid easier. So when we came up with a design spec of here's what we want to do, we needed to basically improve your body's performance that are required for when you game. So you're looking at eye, retinal, light, and let's just say image translations, and then processing in your wetware, as I like to call it, and then transmission of those wetware signals to your hands to manipulate controllers. So we looked at it really from your ocular nerves all the way through to your to your paws, if you will, and all the processing that's required within that. The original designs we had when we worked with the laboratory, we came up with some ridiculous route from some mountain in India and all these other pretty let's just say interesting concepts of what to use. But then looking at those, then it just started to get kind of ridiculous as far as what we can actually talk about and be realistic with. So we came up with glutamic acid and niacin, which are you can look at on our website as far as the scientific community supporting that these are actual support mental functioning and reaction times. So that's that's kind of a quick version of how we went about the process, but we worked with some really smart doctors to come up with that formulation and in the percentages that are in actually each flavor, which is a whole nother set of challenges to work on.